Hi guys, thanks for coming back to another video. I appreciate y'all coming back. God bless you, and I pray peace is with you at this time. It's been a while since I've made a video. We've had a lot going on in my family on this end of the camera, but we are still trying to dig in and learn the information in regards to the way. The Lord has been pointing us to the way. He has been talking about the way. We are now understanding that the Lord Jesus and his apostles walked within the way. They followed the royal law, and they were they followed some of the Nazarene followings, some of the Essene followings, some of the Ebionite followings, and they were a specific sect all to themselves. We have talked about some of the dietary restrictions, part of the way. The way encompasses a whole lot more than just the dietary restrictions, but the dietary restrictions are just so very important. I'm not really going to hit on that as much today. I've done that over in several of the other videos, but I came to a realization as I was going through and reading some of these things and pondering and meditating upon what the Lord has been pointing me to the Gospel of the Nazarenes, or it's also called the Gospel of the Holy 12. We've talked about this book a couple of times, and some people have taken a look at it and say, well, you know, this kind of conflicts, it contradicts with some things that's in the Bible. Yes, it does. Because we are under the understanding that certain things within the Bible has been altered, edited, and or removed. We're already aware about the 1911 Bible. That particular canon included Enoch. It included the Book of Wisdom. It included the 2 Maccabees. It included a lot of different things that are not in the Bible right now. So a lot of these major edits go all the way back to the time of Constantinople and all of the edits and the different things that were going on back at that time. So we've talked about this book, and I've come to realize that since the Lord has led me to that book, he has started confirming some things that he told me 3 years ago. Out of it, what seemed to me at that time to be so far out, and like, what are you trying to tell me, Lord? Is now being confirmed. And how would I have even known that it would have been? But when I'm finding out more and more and more as I'm going through this, and also the Acts of the Nazarene, which I do have a PDF of for anyone who is interested in obtaining a copy of a PDF file for the Acts of the Nazarenes, which includes a lot of the letters back and forth to the apostles after Jesus was crucified. These have been found and they have been published, and they're very interesting to read in regards to Pope Clement. We talked about that in some of the readings that we did in the last Bible in regards to Peter talking to Jesus's brother James, which has also been known as AKA Jacob. Okay, so the Lord pointed me to James. He pointed me to the brother James. He said the twin, the brother, and he pointed me to James. So there was 2 things that I had to go and take a look at. I was now looking at Thomas, the twin, Didymus Thomas, which was known as the twin, and we also knew about the brother James. And so I have come across what I believe he was trying to point me to here most recently. But that was standing on a beach. I shared this years ago. I was standing on a beach and I was just in prayer right in front of the water, and just receiving so much of the Holy Spirit that when I turned to walk back to our condo, I almost stumbled. I felt like I was drunk with the Spirit. But it was that particular day that I was given and told James. So I knew I had to look, and I've shared all of this information within all of those videos on YouTube. What I am finding about the videos on YouTube, though, is I'm finding that not all of the older videos are there, and some of the older videos are some of the most important. So I do want to scroll and take a look at some of those things because, guys, as I've been reading and understanding, okay, and gaining a little bit more insight and wisdom in regards to what I believe he's trying to show us, I'm going back to these videos and I'm going back into my journals, and I'm finding he's been telling us about the way all along. He has been teaching us about the way all along, because 2 years ago he said no meat, he said no yeast, he said no alcohol. He's told us these 3 things. Just most recently, he has said and started talking about gluttony, and now starting to be in moderation. So meat, strong drink, and gluttony were the 3 things that the Acts of the Nazarene pointed out, and that was shown in the last video. So guys, I know I'm hearing him, and I know he's pointing us to this. Okay, and he's trying to get us there. But as I go back and I scroll and I take a look at some of the titles and what we were discussing in some of those videos over the years, it's all pointing to the same thing. He's been trying to tell us about the way and understanding parts of what is going on for us to transform, for us to return to the kingdom, for us to return back to the garden, for the merge and the converge to occur, for all of it. He has been trying to tell us these things all along the way. So it's very, very interesting. I want to kind of just scroll over a couple of things, and then I want to go back and talk about a few things, because I know many of you have some questions. I know many of you have questions. I know some of you have just been stating a couple of comments that's not quite accurate, and I had to cut the comments off because even a slight variance from what the Lord is specifically trying to say, we cannot have at this time, not when we're talking about the narrow way. Do I know everything at this time? No, absolutely not. But I know that the diet is most important, okay? Because if we are to return to the garden, okay, there was no death in the garden. There was no killing in the garden, okay? So those who are killing animals to eat them within their diet is not going to be allowed. Now, I know some will say, well, that's because, when we finally get back to the garden, we'll return back. No, you have to be preparing yourself before you can enter into the garden. Death will not be allowed into the garden. Okay? So, there's certain things that we have to be very, very careful about what we're saying. And he has impressed upon me this diet. He has impressed and impressed and impressed. And I've come out and I've tried to convey that to you. There are some that are saying, well, there's more important things to talk about than just, not being able to eat meat. Be careful, okay? Death will not be allowed into the garden. And that is where our journey is going. Is that not where the Lord told us we were going? We were going on a journey. Where were we going? We were going to the garden, okay? All right. So, guys, I've had to cut the comments off. I'm sorry. I will provide my email. If you'd like to reach out to me and ask questions, most definitely, please do so. But I can't have that right now because everyone is supposed to be seeking the Lord Yeshua one-on-one, okay? We're to be taught by him one-on-one, okay? I can give you the guidance of what he's been showing me and what my understanding is at this time because it's expanding as time goes on. But I cannot share with you the intricate mysteries and all of that other stuff. I mean, I don't even have that yet. I'm still working to try and get it myself. So there is a pathway being provided. It is one that we have to walk. It is one that we have to be purified to walk. We have to be consecrated. We have to be sanctified. We have to be cleansed and purified, okay? We know the heart. We've worked on all of that. He's been talking to us about this all this time, but it's also, okay, it's also the diet. So it's very important. I've had someone that reached out to me in email and had some of the same questions and concerns as well as about the conflicts between this book and some of the things that's in the Bible. And the Lord gave me a specific message for her. And the message that was given to her really applies to us all that are still questioning about what's going on. So I want to go ahead and share that response to her. And she was in no way disrespectful at all. She is a sincere seeker, and she's asking questions because she just is trying to grasp and identify the truth. And when she was asking some questions, the Lord had a response to her. But this response goes for everybody. It goes for me. It goes for everybody. So I would like to share at least that point first, and then we're going to go ahead and move forward. So I made note in my studies the date of August the 12th because of the questionings regarding the diet and the contradictions of the diet in the Bible versus what we're being shown and told as the way. And this was his message. He said, you can go your way and become lost, or you can come aboard and stay steady. You can make your way hard or light. The choice is yours. When you realize that it is you who have done the things that you experience in this life, then you will know that it is I that helps you through. When focused upon the choices given in this life, you should know and understand that it is I that have given them to you. You have the choice, so make it. Think not to hinder others' ways with your thoughts or choices. Make yours and go. I have come so that those who choose life have life, and life abundantly. Hinder them not with your words or actions. Stay within yourself if you desire to come forth, and you will see the light. And he said, send this to her. And that was the end of that message. So notice here a couple of things that he's saying. He's saying, make the choice. Okay. But he's also saying that when you realize that it is you who have done the things that you experience in this life, then you will know that it is I that helps you through. Well, that talks about some other points that we want to talk about the transmigration of the soul and the reason why we continue to come back to this earth to learn this school of hard knocks on the earth as it is, so to speak. But also here it says, stay within yourself if you desire to come forth. Stay within yourself if you desire to come forth, and you will see the light. So very interesting information that he is providing here. Very interesting information indeed. So what's the transmigration of the soul? What does that mean? Are you talking about reincarnation? The Bible speaks against reincarnation. Well, there is particular scriptures in the Bible that speak of Jesus talking about John the Baptist and saying, if you so believe, he is Elijah. Okay, if you so believe. Well, so there has to have been some knowledge and understanding at the time that Jesus walked this earth to have even said that, because there is no other links in the Bible regarding that. So there had to have been some understanding somewhere. If you look into the Zohar, you will find some information in regards to the transmigration of the soul. That tells you that the Jewish people knew all about it. Okay. Some links will say that the soul will come back into another person. Well, that makes perfect sense for what Jesus said about John the Baptist and Elijah. Some will say, well, they come back in animals. I don't know anything about that. I cannot say anything about that. I've not been told anything about that by the Lord Yeshua. But I have been told that the saints of old are here. Okay? I have been told that the saints of old are here to help others get home, to help others understand the pathway. And from what we're understanding now, the way. Okay? I was told that back in 2016. I was also told back at that time that, you were at the cross. Well, how was I at the cross? In what form and matter was I at the cross? Because I'm here now. I was also told that I was Miriam. I shared all of this back in 2016, and I want to go back and take a look at it because the Lord is now just confirming some of the information that He is telling me. Okay? I have most recently been told of another life. This time I wasn't a woman, I was a man. My name was Jonathan, and I was in the military. And I know exactly who I was. He told me the full name. He told me who he was. I went back and I took a look at it, and sure enough, there he is. Okay? Your soul is not male or female. Okay? The division is within the body. So some people are going to say, well, in the Bible it says you're appointed once to live, or once a man will die and then comes the judgment. Okay, yeah, but that's for my physical body. Diana has only lived one life. I've only lived one life, but my soul has lived many times. Okay? Because from the time of Adam and Eve to the time of now, we have to gain knowledge. We have to have understanding. Okay? And it's through judgment and strife and heartaches and trials and tribulations that we grow. Right? It's not when the easy time is, it's when the hard time is. Okay? And the Lord has even said not too long ago, you're getting ready to go through an even harder time, but once you break through, there's abundance. And I had some people comment on that, like, I can't do no more. I can't go through no more stuff. And I understood that completely. But it's through trials and tribulation that someone will be born. Okay? The birthing process is not an easy process. It never is. Okay? So we want to look at that. So let's take a look and see about the transmigration of the soul. There's a couple of things that I'd like to show you. Hang on one second. So when you take a look at the word transmigration, the definition is of the soul pass into a different body after death. So the origin here just means to be transferred, removed from one place to another. So of the soul to pass into a different body after death. You know what is really interesting is when I was speaking to the Lord in regards to a question and a discussion that I was having with a friend of mine, Petra. How many times had Jesus been here? Well, in his physical body as Jesus, just once. But his soul had come many times because he too had to mature. He had to learn. He had to experience all of the different points that are on that tree of life. Okay? He had to know and understand and become who we are to follow and emulate and become. Okay? And it is something that is very interesting to ponder upon. It's very interesting to take a look at. Some people will say, "Oh, you're speaking falsehoods," but no, I'm not. If you seek the Lord Yeshua yourself on it, you will find out. There are many, many, many people here on this earth that are the saints of old. Okay? There are many here on this earth that are the saints of old. And they're here to help others. And they are in the process of awakening themselves to understand who they are. And there are many out there that have YouTube channels, many that have been very good friends of mine, that understand because they can remember being other people or memories are given to them about things that have happened in the past. Now, with that in mind, you need to understand that that is connected to you somehow, to your soul, okay? Not to your body that you have right now. Okay, it is appointed once for man to die, and then the judgment. Well, that's my flesh. It's not my soul. Okay? So, very interesting information, very interesting things to ponder upon. Let me see if I can pull up that Zohar thing. I would like for you to take a look at that. So when I was looking at the Zohar defining transmigration of the soul, I know it's in here and I'm going to have to pull it up for you, but take a look at this where it says, transmigration of the souls is the philosophical and religious doctrine that supports the passage of the human soul through human beings, but then it expands it even more to animals and plants for reasons of purification or punishment because of errors committed in previous lives. Now guys, I need to say, hang on one second. Sorry, I'm having issues with my recording software. Okay, so guys, I need to say this. Souls go to purify themselves because at some point they too need to become perfect. They have to learn, they have to mature, they have to become sons of God. Okay? All right. Because we are the micro of the macro. We are part of the whole. We are part of that. Okay? And if it's in the whole, it's in us, but just to a smaller or lesser degree. Okay? So if we go back and we take a look at Genesis, when they're talking about, now they know what we know when they had eaten from the tree of good and evil, there's allegorically speaking, that is speaking about you. Okay? So you are part of the whole. Okay? You are the micro, okay, of the macro. And we did a video on that. So if you haven't seen that one, you can go back. It's not been so old that it's not there. But there is another part here too, where it's talking about, some of those souls go into animals and some of those souls go into plants or something inanimate or what have you. Now guys, he has not explained that part to me. Okay? He has not. So I can't speak on that whatsoever, but I can speak on the souls going into other people. I can. And the Bible speaks on it. Jesus specifically spoke about it in the Bible. So I do want to kind of talk to you a little bit about that. Let's go into the transmigration of the soul that I found in the Jewish Encyclopedia where it's talking about the Zohar. So this is the Jewish Encyclopedia, and when it comes down into this part right here, it says, this is the theory of the Zohar, which says all souls are subject to transmigration. All souls are subject to transmigration, and men do not know the ways of the Holy One. The ways of the Holy One, blessed be He. They do not know that they are brought before the tribunal both before they enter into this world and after they leave it. They are ignorant of the many transmigrations and secret probations which they have to undergo, and of the number of saints and the number of souls and spirits which enter into this world and which do not return to the palace of the heavenly King. Men do not know how the souls revolve like a stone which is thrown from a sling. But the time is at hand when these mysteries will be disclosed. And that is from the Zohar. So we're here to purify, and we're here to have judgment, right? If it's appointed for once man to die and then to receive the judgment, if you're dead, then he has to give you something to where you're able to work through your judgment, right? So, it would be, you know what it's like? It's like, as a man sows, he shall reap. Okay. So is it all out there that we reap, or do we reap within this life? Of course, we reap also within this life. People talk about, as whatever a man does to somebody else, it will come back onto them. Karma, I think, is some of the words that people say. So as a man sows, so shall he reap. Well, it will happen in this life also, as it will also happen in another. if we are given the option to return. Okay? So guys, we have to keep that in mind. And I know it's just like, this is probably new to a lot of you. He's been kind of giving me little bits and pieces of it ever since 2016. But when he first told me some things back in 2016, I didn't know what to think. I understood and believed some things that he was telling me, but when he started talking about me, I'm going to tell you, my mind was completely blown. I want to share that part of that 2016 video with you where he is telling me, and I'm just talking about the saints of old being here, and I'm explaining to you how I'm feeling about the way he's telling me these things, and I'm just in the process of hearing it for the first time. So you can imagine my surprise and just trying to allow my brain to receive it all. And it's taken some time for him to confirm it, but he did confirm it this year, and I want to share that with you. So let me go ahead and start that video. It's probably going to run for about 12 minutes or so, but it's very, very interesting. And this happens to be one of those videos that's not pulling up on my feed in YouTube anymore. I will go ahead and try to provide the link. Hang on one moment. Okay, guys, so here's the video. This was done back in 2016. I don't see the date on it. Oh no, the dream was in January of 2017. And the name that he gave me of Miriam was also in 2017. He had given me a dream where I sketched it out, and this is how he told me and showed me who my name was. As Miriam. He gave me the dream to where it almost looked like Moses' sister Miriam. But now that I have understood what he has said to me, in this information that he has confirmed, I'm now understanding that I don't believe that is Miriam. It could be. It could be. But there's something else I'd like to show you. Hang on. Okay, so this is the video, and this is where the Lord is starting to explain to me about Miriam, and this is one that he had identified as to who I was, and this is the first time that I'm actually sharing this information with anybody. So I would like to go ahead and continue here. This is back in early 2017. Before the Lord asked me to come back to as natural as I possibly could. So as you can see, my hair is dyed here, but let's listen in. There's some important information here. Time with the Lord, one-on-one with the Lord. And I just said, Lord, I love you so much. And I was just speaking in terms of that. And then all of a sudden he said one word to me. He said, Miriam. And I said, Miriam. And so I knew right then I needed to stop, and I needed to go ahead and look up to see who Miriam was. And I had no idea who Miriam was. And so when I pulled it up, my wiki page, which I love, when I pulled it up, I saw that Miriam was Moses' sister. And I don't know a whole lot about Miriam right now. I'm still in the process of trying to decipher who she was and what she did and what her role was. But she was an older sister of Moses, and she was the one that helped her mother put Moses in the basket onto the river. And she was the one that watched over the basket as it went down and ended up strategically, I think, where Pharaoh's daughter was bathing. And you know the story. She saw the basket, and Moses' life was spared. And so I understood, now just generally, who she was. And, guys, as well as I do that women aren't named a lot in the Bible. And so there's something significant we're to know, especially if there's a name for a female. Because we know that the woman with the issue of blood is the woman with the issue of blood. I mean, we don't know her name. We don't know a whole lot about her. She's just being identified. So the name means that there's something significant. So I'm actually starting to dig in a little bit as to see exactly who she was and what happened in her life. And so while I was looking through that, I just started talking to the Lord, and I jotted down our conversation. I said to him, oh gosh, let me see if I can find it. Here it is. So while I was looking up the information about Miriam, I said to him, I said, Father, what are you trying to tell me here? Because I was looking at this. I said, Father, what are you trying to tell me here? What are you trying to tell me in this dream? That I am Miriam? That Miriam is around me? Because guys, we've already been told that the saints of old are here to help us. We've been told that. And, are they just here in spirit form to help us? Are they in, how are they here to help us? And so I was asking, because I had heard about this. And when I had received that information, I prayed about it. And I asked the Lord, well, Lord, who is around me helping me? And he told me Anna. And I didn't know who Anna was. I had to go and look up who Anna was. And Anna was a prophet that was alive and around the time when Jesus was born. And she was around the child at that time, about the time when the Magi came, the three wise men, or I say three, but when the wise men came. And so I didn't know who Anna was, and there's not much on Anna to even understand who Anna was, except that a very small amount of information. And so I'm asking the Lord, I'm quiet, my office is quiet, I'm able to spend a little time with him. I was in praise time with him, and in prayer, and so this is the conversation. Let me tell you. I said, Father, what are you trying to tell me here? That I am Miriam? That Miriam is around me? He said, my child, you have returned to reclaim what is yours. And I said, what is mine? And he said, your wealth in me. My wealth in you? Yes, your dreams. I said, what dreams? He said, of being my bride. Did you all just see that? Right when I said that? God is good. He said, yes, your dreams. And I said, well, what dreams? And he said, of being my bride. I said, Miriam had dreams of being your bride? He said, you are she, and yes. Now, I'm going to tell you, I had to stop right there. I had to stop, and I just had to say, first off, I was in shock. He was telling me information. Now, guys, it's not that I don't accept this stuff. It's not. I believe the saints of old are here. I believe people have come and gone through in these lives to do training and learning and all different kinds of things. I can't even tell you how many times I've been here. Is it just once? I knew I was here at the crucifixion. I don't know. But I think where it kind of stumps me up is, you talking to me, Lord? You talking to me? I'm like looking around. Is there somebody behind me you talking to? Because when I think about stuff like that, I think, me? You know, it takes time for me to absorb that. Because, you know, guys, when you think about it and you're hearing it, you know, you got to shake your head for a minute and say, oh, stop it. No, you know, quit playing. That's what you want to say. You know, you want to say, quit playing now, Lord. Let's focus. But that's not what it is, you know. And so I went to him because I had to stop. I was writing down what he was saying. I just had to stop, you know, and I just had to put some air between him and me for just a second. And, he said, you are she, and yes. And I finally said something back to him, and I said, are you sure, Lord? Are you sure? You know. And he said to me, he said, are you questioning me? And I said, I'm asking for confirmation if that's at all possible. You know, Father, would it just be, you know, would you just be able to just tell me? And he said to me, he said, will you believe me? I said, if you say it is so, then yes. And so he said, then it is so, my child. We continued on with a little bit more of the conversation. But when I got done, I sat there. I can't tell you how long I sat there. I just sat there just like, wow. Like, wow. You know. And then I just had a little bit of time to kind of bask in what he was trying to tell me and absorb it and just, you know, you can hear it, but you can hear something and not take ownership of it. Like hearing the word and not realizing it's a promise for you, or something like that. And so I heard it, but I hadn't taken ownership of it yet. And I think in my mind was just like swirling around, trying to decipher it, And so after work that day, I was walking to my car. I work downtown, and I have to park in a real tall parking deck. And I was just walking to my car, and and thinking about it. I mean, what else can you think about when the Lord tells you that? There isn't anything more important. There isn't anything more important for you to even think about, except for what He's told you. And so, you can't focus, you can't function, you can't do anything else except, but just want to be sitting at His feet to say, help me with this, Lord, And so I was walking to the car, and He reminded me of a vision that I had, like, I don't know, just a couple of days before He gave me this message, before this conversation. And it was in the middle of the night. I was sleeping, but somehow I had a vision in the middle of a dream or in the middle of the night. I mean, I don't remember the dream around it, if I was dreaming, but I remember this. I was looking in a mirror, and or at least I think it was a mirror. I believe it was, and I was looking at a person, and this person had straight, long, dark hair, just straight, parted in the middle, and just straight, long, dark hair, and no makeup, no nothing, kind of bushy eyebrows though. And she looked right at me, and I looked at her, and I didn't say anything, but I just looked at her, and and then I said, "Oh, is that me?" And as soon as I said it, it was gone. It was like boom, it was gone. And I thought, well, what in the world was that? I said, man, I thought, gosh, that poor woman, she looked kind of tired, And then I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, well, I'm just as tired, And so I didn't remember it. I didn't even notate it down on any of my journals or anything because I had not remembered it. And the Lord brought it back to my memory when I was walking to my car after receiving that message that day. And I wondered to myself, I wondered if He allowed me to see what she looked like. So there's the video from 2016 where the Lord was first telling me about Miriam and who I was, and that I was returning to reclaim what was mine. I was returning for my wealth within Him, and that my dream was to marry Him. I felt that was very, very interesting. So when I was given the dream that I showed the sketch of, it didn't connect in my mind when I was first talking about the dream that could have been the story of Miriam, Moses's sister. I don't know if I was Miriam, Moses's sister. I've not really been pointed to that because the information that he gave me was someone that was wanting to marry Yeshua. And so I thought that was really, really interesting. Now, when I asked the Lord for confirmation then, and I said, can you just tell me, can you just make sure I can know and understand? And He said, it is so. He asked me, are you questioning me? As if I was not believing He was telling me truth. And I had to be very careful about that because, it was new. I was trying to learn this information. I was asking questions about it, but I had to be respectful about it. And I think that was kind of the tone that He gave me too in that response to the one girl that was asking some questions in regards to the diet and different things like that. So that is one of the reasons that I wanted to share what was given to me. It's very rare that the Lord gives me any message for someone specific, unless I seek Him on it fervently, and He will. But He opened right up and He gave me that particular message, which I believe speaks to me as well as everyone else. It wasn't until this year that He actually provided more confirmation in regards to Miriam, and it came in the form of this book, okay? The Gospel of the Holy 12, which we've been talking about, and also this is also the Gospel of the Nazarenes. And so it wasn't until I started reading this that this came across my path, and I knew I was led to it, that I started reading it, that it came across that Jesus was espoused to a young lady by the name of Miriam. I want to pull that up. I want you to see it because it does confirm what the Lord has been saying. This book, it confirms a lot of what the Lord has been saying, and what the Lord has given me, I've provided in these YouTube videos. So I want to pull up that one little excerpt so that you can see the confirmation that I just received this year. As a matter of fact, I haven't been reading this book very long, so as long as I have been sharing it with you, that's as long as I've known about this book. So hang on, I want to pull that up. So you can find the Gospel of the Holy 12 online. It's also called the Gospel of the Nazarenes, but it's the Gospel of the Holy 12 that I have in print. But it's the same thing. In number 6, as a matter of fact, it speaks of the childhood and youth of Jesus the Christ. And it goes on and talks about something here about on number 10, okay, it says, and in the 18th year of his age, Jesus was espoused unto Miriam, a virgin of the tribe of Judah, with whom he lived 7 years, and she died, for God took her, that he might go on to the higher things he had to do, and to suffer for the sons and daughters of men. And Jesus, after he had finished his study of the law, that is the royal law, Okay. He went down again into Egypt that he might learn the wisdom of the Egyptians, even as Moses did. And going into the desert, he meditated and fasted and prayed and obtained the power of the holy name, by which he wrought many miracles. And for 7 years he conversed with God face to face. And he learned the language of the birds and the beasts, and the healing powers of trees and of herbs and of flowers, and the hidden secrets of precious stones. And he learned the motions of the sun and the moon and the stars, and the power of the letters, and the mysteries of the square and the circle. What? The circle that keeps being put in front of us, and the transmutation of things, and of forms, and of numbers, and of signs. From there he returned to Nazareth to visit his parents, and he taught there in Jerusalem as an accepted rabbi, even in the temple, none hindering him. Okay, so when I read this in section 6 of the Gospel of the Holy 12, this is the time that it has been confirmed again to me, exactly what the Lord said to me. So guys, you know, if the Lord is giving you memories of things, if you're remembering or having dreams of something, if he has told you specifically who you are, then you cannot discount this. And you cannot listen to those who are not being told or seeking or finding, okay? You have to go along your own path. I want to encourage you, okay, to continue along and to find out what the Lord is trying to tell you, okay? Because I am aware that I've been here more than once. I've been here at least 4 times that I'm aware of. Most recently, he gave me another vision in the night, just like what he did when he showed me who Miriam was. He showed me a man in like a black cloak with dark hair, and as if he were sitting for a portrait. The Lord told me his name. His first name is Jonathan. He told me he won the war. He told me he was a man of great stature. And when I arose and went to look up what this who this man was, I found an image of him, one of the very few images that are there. He is sitting for a portrait in dark clothing, and he has dark hair. Let me show you the picture of what I found. So the name was given to me. He is a tall man. He is in dark clothing. He has dark hair. It was as if he was sitting for a portrait. And there it is. Very, very interesting information. Guys, I need to remind you that your soul is neither male nor female. Okay? You are neither, you're not white, you're not black, you're not red, you're not any of that. You are light and you are energy. That is who your soul is. And so I know I've made mention in some of those older videos in the back where I'm in the pool, and if I'm making motion in the water of the pool and the sun is shining down, I can see all of those waves, energy and waves that looks like it's in the bottom of the pool. You can see the movement and the energy in the water. And I said, that's what it looks like in the spirit when I can see that light and those waves of light and energy that come when I'm being shown something. And what I thought I was being shown, well, I wasn't really sure what I was being shown at first, but what I am understanding now is I was giving glimpses of my own soul, the colors that were there, the parts of the spirit that my soul was housing, those colors, those spirits of God. So what is really interesting is last night I had an experience. I do want to share this. I was talking with the Lord in regards to allowing me to see that again. And I was seeing all different kinds of colors, but he allowed me to see such bright light. Okay. I recognized the light. It was very bright. And when I was able to look at it for just a very short time in the spirit, I perceived something from that light. I perceived that that light was soft, that light was gentle, and that light was kind. There was a meekness there. There was a meekness. So I know he showed me my own soul's light. He showed it to me. And I, for a very small instant, but I had the download, I was able to perceive the spirit that my soul has become. Very soft, very gentle, very meek, very kind. It wasn't, it didn't have the emotions that we deal with in this body. It was very soft, very, very gentle. And so when he took that away, when I was only allowed to see it at first, when he first started showing it to me in the spirit, my eyes were closed and he started showing it to me, this bright light was coming on me. I was being allowed to perceive this bright light. And then as I was able to kind of gaze on it, that perception came to my mind. So guys, our soul is here to mature. It's here to learn, to understand, to receive the wisdom, to grow, to become more like God. Jesus showed us this pathway. He walked this pathway. That is the pathway that we are to pick up our cross and follow, because he showed us the way. He is showing us that we all can walk in that way. And we all need to walk in that way. And so many of us can become now the sons of God, okay, by walking in that pathway, in the way, okay. He has been giving us little bits and pieces about this all along, and it is being confirmed in this book, okay. When Jesus went, it says in here, and we just read that he went into Egypt to learn the ways there, just as Moses did. And, then he conversed with God face to face for 7 years. And then he did this. And then he understood about language with the animals, which my friend Wendy should be very excited about, because she has been receiving kind of information in regards to that, and all of these other different things. Okay, this is all the wisdom and the mysteries that we will be learning, but we've got to get to that point first. Okay, so we need to be conversing with God face to face. We need to be taught by one person. We talked about we're going to be taught by one person, and that is the Lord Yeshua. Okay. Jesus fulfilled all the scriptures. Now, he told me that several years ago. Some understood what I was saying. Some didn't understand what I was saying. Some contradicted what I was saying and say, no, this particular scripture has not been fulfilled. It has not been fulfilled in the physical. Jesus fulfilled all the scriptures within himself. Okay? He went and walked the way of the Egyptians. He went and learned all of these other things. He walked everything out. He said not one jot or tittle, right? We know about that scripture. Okay? He fulfilled them all. Okay? We are walking that out as well in our lives. Many years ago, I said to the Lord in prayer, and I'm talking 20-something years ago, I said to the Lord, Lord, I feel like I'm living out a Joseph life. Okay? I was going through a Joseph season. There are many of us that have gone through Esther's preparation. There are many of us that are walking out different things. Different things have been experienced in our lives where we've had the angels come to us, right? And we've had the overshadowing, and we've had all of these different things that are happening within our lives. Okay? We are fulfilling the scriptures within our lives as well. Okay? Because that is the pathway of the Lord. Okay? Now I know that's hard for some to say. Guys, it's not the physical. It's not the physical. It's the spiritual, and it's within you, because the kingdom is within you. The garden is there, in the middle, okay? It's in the middle. It's where we can meet with them. We talked about that when we talked about Genesis, about the waters being divided by the waters, and in the middle was the firmament. If you guys don't remember that video, go back a couple, okay? Because that middle, that area, that place is where is really the only place we can meet, okay? In the middle, in the garden where Yeshua will be, because that logos, that mind of God, is the balancing force. It balances everything out, okay? And we also read in the chariot of the, I can't remember what that site was, but it's back in some of those other videos, that we remain hidden if we're within Yeshua there. We're not seen by either side. Remember when we were talking about the tree of life, that if we're in that center, we remain hidden within him. And the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is because when we start going through some of those videos on my YouTube channel, you're going to see he's been telling us this the whole time. This is what it is. Okay? We are the final temple that's being built. Okay? Because the one they're trying to build in Jerusalem is going to be blasphemous. Okay? We are the final temple. Okay? The allegorical sense of a lot of stuff that you're reading in Scripture is pointing to you. It's pointing to you inside and spiritually speaking. Okay? So, please keep that in mind. There are hidden truths there. There are. You need to seek Yeshua on it one-on-one. Okay? You need to seek him on it one-on-one. All right? All right, so for the last part of this video, I just want to go over a couple of the videos that are on my YouTube channel, some things where he's been showing us and talking to us about a couple of things, and how he's been pointing us to the way all this time. He's been giving us bits and pieces of it, so that when you get into this, if you've gone back and taken a look at some of these things, or remembered some of the things that he has taught us, then this is going to confirm it. Just like it confirmed Miriam for me, okay? It confirms a whole lot more. So please take it to heart. Pray over this particular document. Ask the Lord about it. He will confirm it, okay? He will confirm these things. Let me go ahead and turn this around, because I definitely want to start showing you some of the things that he has shared. Okay, so we have a listing of the videos. These are the most recent ones, which you guys can see. He's talking about the way of life and death. You need to choose life. He's talking about the microcosm and the macrocosm, the logos and the balancing force. We talked about that. He's pointed us to the tree of life and understanding about the narrow way. He's talked to us about the middle. He's talked to us about the Spirit Byzantine and how the church separated and what got altered at that time. He's talking about refining us. And it's going on and on and on. He's revealed wisdom. He's talked about the family, because we know that it is Mother God and Father God. We understand that. He's been telling us about the Garden of Eden and going on a journey. He's been telling us that it is time for change. And what is interesting is he is waiting on you. While others are waiting on him, he is waiting on you. It is a pathway that you must take. It is a choice that you must make. Okay? He told us about the hem of the pearl. Remember, because when I was down on the beach and he gave me James and he pointed me to that, and he pointed me to the twin, which is Didymus Thomas. We talked about the hem of the pearl, and the hem of the pearl went into about the Son coming on this earth, forgetting what was going on. The letter was sent to him. He remembered, got the pearl and left and gone on back home. You know, guys, we are all the prodigal son. Do you understand? We all are the prodigal son. We all have to walk that journey. We all are. Okay? Let me go down a little bit more. He gave us a lot of these fiery serpents. Here it comes again. My way will provide your way. He's been talking about his way for quite some time. He has been talking to us about the tabernacle. Well, you know what's really interesting about the tabernacle is that the tabernacle is a movable temple. Okay, our body is a movable temple. We are the final temple. And so he has been pointing us to the tabernacle. Remember the circle that had mentioned. The Lord's been pointing us to these circles and the squares within the circles and the different things that he has been pointing us to. He has been trying to tell us some of this stuff all this time about the meaning of numbers and the patterns. We've been talking about that. Let me go ahead and scroll down a couple more. About the time that he told us we had a name and there was a bracelet and a charm, and he talked about Golan and will he find anybody there with faith. We went in and talked about Jonah, and we talked about recalling that the saints of old are here with us. That kind of confirms that one video that we kind of put in the beginning of this video and talked about. He's talked about a lot of different things in here. Let's continue going because he has some information. No place for that now. That's where he was talking about the no alcohol anymore. And he said earlier to that there was no meat, and even before that it was no yeast. And so we know about all of these different things that the Lord has been pointing us to. They're all in here for you to see and find and reveal. It is time for us to fly. It's time for us to rise up. Isn't that interesting of what we have there? Because it is something that we have to do. Okay? This particular video here where he asked me to put my pencil down, to put my pen down, I want to open this up because I want to show you what he said in this particular video. It is very interesting. I don't want to play the video. I just want to read to you what he said in this particular video. I'm having some trouble. Oh, here we go. Having some trouble bringing it up. So he said, prepare yourselves for a great shaking. The arrival of those I've warned is about to be. He's talking about those he's told us was coming. He said, those who have listened will be covered and hidden away. He said, you have been given all you have been granted by me, meaning everything he gave me, I shared. And it said, those who have listened will be covered and hidden away. Now, guys, that's pretty interesting information, especially in lieu of what we found out about being hidden in the middle, okay? And talking about the tree of life, and that the right and the left won't see you if you're in the center because you're hidden within the way of the Messiah. And we talked about that, okay? So it's very interesting how this is all kind of interplaying in. But it did say here, it says here, I pray that the things that I have shared have helped you along the way. Now that's very interesting because that was a note that I was making and stating in this particular video. And it has here that I've helped you along the way. Now I don't even think I've truly understood what I was saying at that point because that was so early on being shown the way, but it certainly is interesting about the language that was provided. It will be again, there's patterns. He's talking about things going around, coming around. Here's the new level one. Remember the Lord was saying we're getting ready to step up into a new level. And he gave me the information about the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And we understood that that final 1/3 was entering into the Holy of Holies. In the temple, in the tabernacle, that last 1/3, the new level that we were going into, was entering into the Holy of Holies, where God's presence was. Okay? So he has been showing us this all along, guys. All along. Resurrection. Okay? The resurrection, guys, believe it or not, the resurrection happens while you're still alive. I'm sorry, I hate to bring that to you, but the resurrection, the rising happens while we're still alive. Everything that we do has to be done while we're on this earth in this body, because then once the tree falls, it lays where it lays. It is where it is. There is no more learning and maturing or anything else in this life. Okay? It is this life that we are learning and growing and maturing. So we have to grab and do as much as we possibly can do while we're here. Because there is scriptures that say you can become a pillar in the house of God and you will not have to return. Okay? So we have to get to a certain point where we do not have to return. But if we are understanding the transmigration of the soul and why it's done for purification and for judgment, then we have to understand that there's a possibility that we can come back. Okay? You want to get to where you want to be so that you don't come back. Okay? I don't want to do another life of suffering. I don't. I want to be able to repent and turn and ask for forgiveness and do everything that I can do on this earth to get to the level where I need to be to become a pillar. Okay? I don't want to come back again. There's many of you out there the same way. You don't want to come back again either. You're sick of it too and you're ready to go home. Well, I'm trying to tell you how we have to go about doing it. Okay? I don't have all the answers yet. I don't. I really don't. But I can share with you what I'm being shown. Okay? I can share with you what I'm being shown. Here it is about the saints of old again. They are here. Here it is about the no yeast. Okay? It has begun. The final what? The final third. That season is here. It is upon us. Okay? And it goes on and on and on. There's so many videos here, and some of the older ones you cannot see. I will try to link some of these. If you see a particular title of one, just stop it and send me an email, and I will ensure that you have the link. It's talking about the merge and converge. It's talking about we are being prepared. We're being adorned. The lights in our houses, guys. This is all very, very, it's important information that the Lord, has been trying to tell us and show us. And this is all about new jobs. Okay? This one here is where I was learning how to fly. I mean, guys, this is all real. It's real. It is real. And the things that you have been given in dreams or in visions or in memories even, don't discount it. Do not discount it. It's very, very important. It goes all the way about being obedient to the Lord. It goes and talks about the parable of the talents, where things were divided. The water was divided, trees in the water dream. And then here is the dreams where here's the two where I'm talking about the dream. And this is the one that I shared today. And it just continues to go on and on. The Lord has been showing us so many different things. So guys, I want to just say, and I just want to encourage you. I know a lot of this is maybe it's out of your comfort zone. I'm with you. I understand that. But if you believe and trust in the Lord, if you believe Him, if you trust what He's telling you, because He's truth and He's love and He can be nothing else, okay? If you trust Him, then walk forward with Him and allow Him to show you what's going on. Guys, we are on a new journey. It is not a path any of us have ever traveled before. The saints of old are here, and they're all awakening now so that they can help others understand what's going on. And again, we don't have all the answers. But he pointed me to James, and I have come across a fellow by the name of James who claims to be the brother of Yeshua. And guess what he's teaching? The way. Guys, the Lord pointed me to him. He pointed me to Thomas, the twin. That is the hymn of the pearl. That is also the Gospel of Thomas that came up and was found when the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. Okay, Gospels of Thomas. There are hidden things, hidden mysteries, hidden sayings of Jesus in there, and we have to understand what these things are. Allow the Lord Yeshua to just open them up for you. Okay. I know there's a lot of information here, but guys, this is nothing new. He truly has been pointing us to this and giving us information about the way all this time. So guys, I just want to say God bless you. Thank you for coming back to another video. If you see any videos, titles, and different things like that that you think you'd like to see and you're not seeing it show up on my video feed, just email me and I'll send you what I have. I don't know why it's not showing up there. It's just not. So guys, God bless you. Thank you for coming back. May peace be with you in your house and with your family. Stay under his wing until we can speak again.